All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling something, a question that's been kind of bugging me. Is AI, like, secretly eating the planet?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and we're specifically focusing on ChatGPT, the one everyone's been chatting about.
Right, right.
I figure, you're probably listening to this, maybe um, getting ready for a meeting or something, or just, curious about all the headlines.
It's everywhere these days.
And we've got, like, a ton of sources for this one, articles, research papers, even a French government report.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you wouldn't believe some of the different views out there.
Really?
It's wild. But, okay, here's the thing. Everyone's talking about AI, all this amazing potential, but what about the cost?
Yeah, the energy consumption, that's the big question.
Exactly. Like, one stat I saw just blew my mind. One ChatGPT query uses, get this, 10 times the energy of a Google search.
Yeah, I've seen that number too.
10 times. It's like trading in your bicycle for a Hummer every time you ask it a question.
It's pretty wild when you think about it that way.
So, is that really true?
It is. A few sources are backing that up, and the reason is actually fascinating.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So, ChatGPT needs way more calculations than Google to come up with an answer, like 4 or 5 times more. It's a real computational heavyweight, and that means it really guzzles energy.
Okay, so more calculations, more energy. Got it. But how much are we talking about exactly? Like, can you give me a real-world example?
Sure. Think of it this way. One ChatGPT query uses roughly 2.9 watt hours.
2.9 watt hours. Okay.
Right. Now imagine that, but with billions of Google searches every single day.
Wait, billions? How many billion?
About 9 billion
Sorry?
Google searches every day. So even if just a fraction of those switched over to ChatGPT,
Oh, wow.
the impact would be huge. Some are predicting we'd need an extra 10 to almost 30 terawatt hours of electricity every year.
Whoa, okay. Terawatt hours. To be honest, I have no idea what that means.
Well, think of it like this. That increase in energy use would be enough to power all the homes in New York City for a whole year.
Okay, now that's a number I can understand. That's a lot of power. So we had these energy-hungry AIs, but where's all that power coming from? Isn't it all happening in those mysterious data centers?
Data centers are at the heart of it, yeah. They're the backbone of the whole digital world. And they use a ton of energy.
Right.
But it's not just how much energy they use, it's also about where they're located. That matters too.
No, okay.
Well, because energy sources are different depending on the country, the U.S. has the most data centers, over 5,000. That's about 35% of all the data centers in the world.
Wow.
Germany, the UK, China, they're all big players too. And some countries rely heavily on fossil fuels for their electricity.
Yeah, right.
So when you have a data center boom in those places, it means more carbon emissions.
So the location of these data centers can actually make the energy problem even worse.
Exactly. There are some real-world examples of this already. Ireland gets a huge chunk of its electricity from data centers, something like 20%. Imagine what that would do to a country with a less clean energy grid, like South Africa or India. It would hit them even harder.
Okay, so where do we go from here? It feels like we're in this race. AI is getting more powerful all the time, but it's using more energy too.
Mhm.
Can we actually make this sustainable? Are companies even like trying?
Well, it's not all doom and gloom. Some companies, especially the ones developing these big language models, they're really aware of this issue, and they're putting some serious effort into finding solutions. Like OpenAI, the people behind ChatGPT, they're taking a pretty interesting multi-pronged approach.
Multiphone. Tell me there's some hope here.
Oh, there's definitely hope. One of their big focuses is on renewable energy. They want to power their data centers with renewable energy.
Okay, so like wind and solar and stuff.
Exactly. And they're not just buying renewable energy credits, they're actually partnering directly with wind farms, especially in Texas, to make sure their operations are running on cleaner energy.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. They're not messing around.
They're not. They're even experimenting with using AI to predict wind patterns and optimize energy usage in those wind farms. It's like using AI to fight the energy consumption of AI.
Kind of poetic when you think about it. So what else are they doing besides the wind farms, I mean?
They're also investing a lot in optimizing their models, making them more efficient.
So like slimming them down, making them run faster.
It's more about refining the algorithms and how the model processes information. The goal is to reduce the computational workload, which directly translates to less energy use.
So smarter and less energy hungry at the same time. That's a win-win,
I
right?
got it. But that's not all. OpenAI is also big on transparency. They put out these reports on their models' carbon footprint and the progress they're making.
So being open about it, that's good, right?
It's crucial. It helps them track their own progress, but it also puts pressure on other companies to do better.
Right, like they're saying, hey, we know this is a problem, we're working on it, and we're going to be open about how we're doing.
Exactly. And there's another really interesting development happening right now. Smaller, more efficient language models, or SLMs. Think of them as like the next generation of AI.
Okay, SLMs. What are
Yeah.
those all about?
These SLMs are designed to be more specialized, and they don't need as much computational power, which means they use way less energy.
So instead of one giant AI that eats up all this energy, we could have a bunch of smaller, more focused ones.
Precisely. It's like having a team of experts instead of one generalist who has to know a little bit about everything. This shift towards smaller, more efficient models, it could be a real game changer for AI sustainability.
Yeah, I can see that. But are these smaller models as powerful as the big ones? Can they handle those really complex tasks?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Researchers are working on that right now, trying to find the right balance between performance and energy efficiency, but the early results are promising.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're already seeing SLMs that can do specific tasks just as well as their bigger counterparts, but using way less energy.
So it's like we're trading a little bit of raw power for a lot more efficiency.
Hmm.
Is that the future of AI, do you think?
It's definitely a possibility. Like anything else, as technology gets better, we figure out how to do more with less. AI is no exception. This push for smaller, more efficient models, it's a good sign that the industry is taking sustainability seriously.
It does sound like we're still in the early stages of this whole AI thing, though.
Yeah.
Like we're still figuring it out. Can we really win this race between AI's growing power and our efforts to make it, sustainable?
Hmm. Honestly, it's tough to say for sure. AI is evolving so fast, it's like trying to predict the weather a year from now. But one thing is clear, more and more people are talking about AI and sustainability, and that's a good thing. Companies are investing in solutions, researchers are exploring new approaches, and people are becoming more aware of the impact of their, digital choices.
So it's not just about what companies and researchers are doing. It's about what we do as individuals too, right?
Okay.
But what can we actually do? It feels like our choices are pretty limited. I know what you mean. It can feel
Sure.
like we're just, along for the ride.
Hmm.
But you're right. We're not totally powerless.
Not at all. It all starts with awareness, understanding that every time we use AI, there's an energy cost.
Right.
Maybe that means like thinking twice before using ChatGPT for a simple question, something Google could easily answer.
Yeah.
Or maybe it means supporting those companies that are upfront about their AI's energy use and are actually trying to, reduce their impact.
So being a little more mindful about our AI use, even if it's just small changes.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of just speaking up. Demand more transparency from those companies you use. Ask them about their AI's energy consumption.
Mhm.
Support policies that are pushing for sustainable AI development. These things can really make a difference.
Yeah, it's like a ripple effect. Like
Yeah.
if enough of us start making those choices and speaking up, it could really create a wave of change.
Exactly. It's not about being perfect. It's about all of us moving in the right direction.
Well, I got to say, I'm feeling a lot better about this whole thing than when we started. We talked about some pretty scary stuff about AI's energy consumption, but we also learned about the solutions being developed and that we can actually do something about it.
I think that's the big takeaway here. It's easy to get caught up in all the hype or the fear around AI, but we have the power to make choices, to ask questions, and to demand better.
It's like we've been given this amazing tool,
Yeah.
this powerful technology. But now it's up to us to figure out how to use it responsibly.
And that's a challenge we got to face head on. The future of AI is still being written, and we have a chance to make sure sustainability is a big part of that story.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I mean, we started with the simple question, is AI eating the planet? But it turns out it's way more complicated than that. There are real costs, but there's also a lot of hope and a lot of opportunity to make a difference.
Absolutely. And for those of you who want to learn more, we've got links to some of the more interesting articles in the show notes.
So next time you're chatting with ChatGPT or using that AI filter on your photos, just, take a second to think about the energy behind it all. And remember, you can choose a more sustainable future for AI. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, stay curious.